In project management, we use the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide, known as the PMBOK Guide, on a lot of projects. But the PMBOK Guide isn't just a bunch of processes. When you really think introspectively about it, it is built on the understanding of the 5 process groups and the 10 knowledge areas. Now, it's very important to see that these are more than just knowledge areas and groups of processes that can be swept away with a touch of a button and the heralding of a new PMBOK guide. Instead, we need to see this as a common lexicon. What is a lexicon? The lexicon, the vocabulary of a person or language or branch of knowledge. That is exactly what a lexicon is. So when you take away the 5 process groups and the 10 knowledge areas, you are eradicating a lexicon that is shared by millions of stakeholders across the world. And we're not talking about just one or two or 100, we're talking about over a million or even 2 million stakeholders worldwide. When you cut out the 5 process groups and the 10 knowledge areas, what you're saying in essence is you don't care. You don't care if anyone has had this as a common lexicon to interact, to create a community of project managers worldwide. You don't care. And that exactly is what the PMI is demonstrating by eradicating the 5 process groups and the 10 knowledge area focus. Don't tell me that they've put it into the so called basement. Nope, we're not accepting that. That needs to be in the forefront. Another misconception I would like to correct is that all projects, taking a look at the Stacy complexity model, need to be tending towards here, the world of agile. Or I dare say, the idea that all projects will eventually be hybridized and moving away from the area of certainty. That is also wrong. There will always be projects that are more agile on the Stacy complexity model, where we have uncertainty in terms of the requirements and complexity. We will always have projects that are more agile, but at the same time, we'll have projects that are very predictive. And probably will stay there, and we will have companies that prefer to stay in this domain. We will have companies that prefer to stay in this domain. We will have some companies that don't mind being somewhere in the middle, but don't try to force one approach on another group of people. Don't try to force predictive on people who are happy in the world of agile. Don't try to force agile on people who are happy in the world of predictive. Don't try to make people who do not want to be hybridized right now hybridized. No matter how much I truly believe hybridization is the way forward, but you cannot force that on people. So when you come out with a book that negates a ton of stakeholders, you are illustrating that you do not understand stakeholder engagement, customer collaboration, and it shows you don't really understand project management. You don't understand leadership because you cannot force an approach on people. When you say you need to think about principles, 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 you have negated the understanding of servant leadership as one of those principles because you're not being a servant leader, you're being a dictator. So, forcing principles on people who understand the lexicon, which of course is based largely on practice, is contrary. We can learn principles, but we shouldn't forget practices. It's like saying you want to be an engineer or a doctor based on the principles. You cannot sustain that professional practice on principles. Principles are important, but that is not the be all end all. And putting that in the forefront diminishes the profession in my mind. And those are my thoughts concerning the Common Lexicon, known as the PMBOK Guide. It provides a common lexicon for project managers. And I urge project managers worldwide to not forget the lexicon. Many of us have slaved away for hours on end taking this exam. We've slaved away for a long time. So for us to diminish all that we worked on in the 10 knowledge areas and the 5 process groups will be a big mistake. They are not preventing one from being hybridized. They are not preventing one from being agile. They are only helping bolster the understanding of project management.